The alarm rings before the sun rises. Messages flood your phone. Deadlines wait for you. Responsibilities pull at your mind before your feet even touch the floor. And before the week has truly begun, you already feel drained. But what if the real reason you're exhausted has nothing to do with your schedule? What if the heaviness you carry comes from trying to control days God has already prepared? Think about that for a moment. While you're worrying about Tuesday's meeting, God is already there. While you're losing sleep over Wednesday's bills, God has already seen the provision. While you're afraid of Friday's uncertainty, heaven is standing in that moment ahead of you. Yet every Monday morning, millions wake up carrying an entire week on their shoulders, as if everything depends on them alone. The pressure, the rushing, the constant noise, cars speeding through crowded streets, people running from task to task, clocks ticking like warnings hanging over their heads. Everyone is moving fast, but very few are moving with peace. Because many people begin their week armed with anxiety instead of faith. They step into battle uncovered, unprepared, emotionally empty, spiritually distracted. And by the middle of the week, discouragement begins to speak louder than hope. But there is a strategy God's people were never meant to ignore. Before the emails, before the meetings, before the pressure, before the fight, meet with God first. There is an armor heaven provides that cannot be bought, copied, or earned through human effort. And those who put it on walk through chaos differently. They still face challenges, they still carry responsibilities, but something about them remains steady when everything around them shakes. The question is, how do they enter the week with that kind of strength? And why do so many believers wake up every Monday already defeated before the battle even begins? The truth is, many people walked into this week carrying weight they were never meant to hold. Last week's disappointment, last week's unanswered prayers, last week's stress, last week's pressure. And without realizing it, they packed those burdens into a brand new week. But before you take another step forward, there is something you need to do right now. Unclench your hands. Slow down for a moment and pay attention to how tightly you've been holding everything together. The fear of falling behind, the fear of disappointing people, the fear that if you stop pushing for 1 second, everything around you might collapse. Now imagine placing every burden at the feet of Jesus. Not part of it, all of it. The conversations that still hurt, the opportunities that slipped away, the pressure sitting on your chest at night, the silent worries you have not spoken out loud to anyone. Set it down. Because some people are asking God for peace while still gripping anxiety with both hands. And this is where everything begins to change. You have been staring at the mountain all week, the mountain of deadlines, the mountain of expectations, the mountain of responsibilities waiting for you tomorrow morning. But sheep were never called to move mountains by themselves. They were called to follow the shepherd. And the shepherd already knows the path ahead. Before you arrive at tomorrow's challenge, God has already walked through it. Before that difficult conversation happens, He already knows every word that will be spoken. Before that unexpected obstacle appears, heaven has already prepared a way through it. This is why fear loses its power when faith changes your focus. Because the mountain may look large from where you stand, but it looks very different from where God stands. Isaiah 45:2 carries a promise many people forget when life becomes heavy. I will go before you and level the exalted places. I will break in pieces the doors of bronze and cut through the bars of iron. That means God is not waiting behind you hoping you survive the week. He is moving ahead of you. Right now, while you are praying for strength, God is already dealing with barriers you cannot yet see. He is clearing paths, arranging moments, shifting conversations, opening doors human effort could never force open. Some doors will open this week because favor speaks where qualifications cannot. An email will arrive at the right moment. A decision will unexpectedly turn in your favor. A conversation you feared may become the very thing that moves your life forward. Even the meetings you are nervous about right now are already under God's authority. Every Zoom call, every interview, every presentation, every message waiting in your inbox. Nothing is outside His reach.
So pray like someone who believes God goes ahead of them. Father, let your favor speak for me this week. Go before me into every room I enter. Touch every conversation connected to my name. Let confusion be replaced with clarity. Let delay give way to movement. Break every bronze door standing in front of my purpose. Smooth every rough place in my schedule. And where stress once ruled my mind, let your peace take control. Because this week may look ordinary on the calendar, but something has already begun shifting in places you cannot yet see. There is another battle many people never talk about. It is the quiet fear that follows them through the week. The fear of something could happen to the people they love. The fear of bad news arriving unexpectedly. The fear of loss. The fear of waking up one day and watching everything fall apart. Some carry these thoughts silently while smiling in public. Others replay worst-case scenarios in their minds before the day even begins. But this week, you cannot afford to live surrounded by fear when God has already promised covering. So begin to pray over your household with authority. Father, place a wall of fire around my family. Cover every door connected to this house. Protect our coming and going. Watch over every child, every parent, every spouse, every loved one. Let no disaster come near us. Let no hidden danger prosper against us. Send your angels ahead of us on every road, in every building, and through every ordinary moment we would normally overlook. Because there are moments you will never even know God protected you from. Accidents avoided by minutes. Decisions redirected at the perfect time. Delays that looked frustrating at first, but later revealed mercy. And while heaven is protecting you physically, God also wants to free many people from another kind of fear, the fear of lack. Right now, someone listening feels pressure every time they check their bank account. Every bill feels heavier than before. Every expense creates another wave of stress. The world teaches people to place their security in numbers. But numbers change overnight. Jobs shift, economies change, opportunities come and go. That is why your salary was never meant to be your source. God is the fountain. Every paycheck is only a stream. And streams can dry up, but the fountain never runs empty. This is why panic must leave your mind when financial pressure rises, because your provision is not limited to one door, one company, one client, or one opportunity. God knows how to provide in ways human logic cannot explain. One conversation can change everything. One opportunity can redirect an entire season. One moment of favor can open what years of struggle could not move. So reject every voice telling you there will never be enough. Declare it boldly. I will not live controlled by lack. I will not bow to fear. God will sustain me. God will provide for me. And what He starts in my life, He will complete. But there is another trap many people fall into without realizing it. They measure their worth by how much they accomplish. If they succeed, they feel valuable. If they fail, they feel invisible. If they stay productive, they feel accepted. If they slow down, they begin questioning themselves. And slowly, identity becomes tied to performance. But hear this clearly today. You are more than your output, more than your title, more than your achievements, more than the opinions people attach to your name. Before you produced anything, God called you His child.
That means your value existed before the promotion, before the applause, before the platform. And if people stop celebrating you tomorrow, heaven's love for you will remain unchanged. This truth breaks chains many people have carried for years, because exhaustion grows quickly when someone spends their entire life trying to prove they deserve to matter. You do not have to earn what God already decided about you. Now this is the moment where cycles begin to break. Cycles that have repeated for years. Cycles people thought would never end. Lift your voice with faith and declare, every cycle of failure breaks now. Every pattern of anxiety loses its hold. Every spirit of procrastination must leave. I will not spend another year trapped in delay. I will not keep shrinking back from what God called me to do. Fear will not rule my decisions. Confusion will not control my future. I declare discipline over my mind, peace over my heart, and strength over my spirit. Because some battles are broken the moment a person stops agreeing with defeat.
And this week, many are about to walk differently. One of the greatest battles this week will not happen in public. It will happen quietly inside moments that seem ordinary. A decision that looks small at first. A conversation you almost ignore. A distraction that steals hours without warning. An opportunity hidden inside an inconvenient interruption. Because many people are busy, but very few are spiritually attentive. The world rewards urgency. Everything feels immediate. Everything feels critical. Everything demands attention at the same time. Answer this now. Finish this now. Handle this now. And before long, people spend their entire lives reacting instead of discerning. But urgency and importance are not always the same thing. Some things scream loudly while carrying no eternal value. Other things arrive quietly, but contain the direction that changes everything. That is why you need more than intelligence this week. You need discernment. Pray for it now. Lord, give me wisdom for every decision ahead of me. Teach me to recognize what truly matters. Help me separate distraction from assignment. Protect me from wasting energy on battles you never asked me to fight. Give me clarity in moments where confusion tries to rush me. Because one wrong priority can drain an entire week. Some people are exhausted because they are carrying responsibilities God never assigned to them. Others are overwhelmed because they keep saying yes to everything except what heaven is actually leading them toward. And sometimes God speaks through interruptions people were trying to avoid. The unexpected phone call, the delayed meeting, the conversation that changes your direction, the moment that interrupts your carefully planned schedule. Most people see interruptions as obstacles, but what if some of them are assignments? What if the delay protected you? What if the unexpected conversation carried the answer you prayed for last month? What if the person crossing your path this week needs encouragement only you can give? This is why surrender must go deeper than words. Even your schedule belongs to God. Place your plans before Him and say, Father, I surrender this week to your will. Lead me beyond my own understanding. If you redirect my plans, help me trust you. If you open a door I did not expect, give me courage to walk through it. And if you close a path I wanted badly, remind me that your wisdom sees further than mine. Because control often feels safe until it begins fighting against God's direction. And there is another enemy quietly destroying peace in this generation: hurry. People rush through conversations, rush through meals, rush through prayer, rush through life itself. Even while resting, their minds are still running. The constant pressure to move faster has left many souls exhausted. They wake up tired, work tired, think tired, pray tired. But God never called His people to live driven by panic. Jesus walked with authority without rushing. He carried peace into every situation because he moved in step with the Father. And this week, you must reject the spirit of hurry that keeps stealing your clarity. Because rushed decisions create unnecessary pain. Rushed emotions create regret. Rushed living blinds people to the moments God is trying to use. So declare this over yourself. I will not be ruled by pressure. I will not run ahead of God's grace. Peace will guide my pace this week. I choose wisdom over panic. I choose clarity over confusion. I choose obedience over striving. There is a rhythm heaven wants to teach you, a place where you still work hard, but without fear controlling your heartbeat. A place where you still carry responsibility, but without losing your peace in the process. And as this week unfolds, many people will notice something different about you. The same pressure will exist, the same challenges may appear, but your spirit will no longer move with chaos. Because when God orders your steps, even ordinary days begin carrying uncommon grace. Many people begin the week full of faith, but by Thursday they feel empty again. The pressure returns, the motivation fades, unexpected battles appear, and the fire they felt on Monday morning slowly weakens under the weight of daily life. That is why you need more than emotional excitement. You need spiritual stamina. Because this week will test more than your patience. It will test your focus, your discipline.
Your faith when prayers seem delayed. Your attitude when frustration knocks at your door again. And this is the moment to pray for endurance that lasts beyond temporary emotion. Father, strengthen me for every day ahead. When fatigue tries to settle into my spirit, renew me again. When discouragement whispers against my purpose, silence every lying voice. Keep my heart steady throughout this week. Let the fire you place inside me continue burning on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and beyond. Give me strength that outlives pressure. Give me peace that survives difficult moments. And give me faith that remains standing even when answers take time. Because some people are one difficult day away from giving up on what God already promised them. But heaven is calling you to remain planted, remain faithful, remain watchful, remain confident in the middle of uncertainty. And hear this clearly before this prayer ends. The giant standing in front of you is not greater than the God fighting for you. The pressure is real, the challenge is real, the obstacles may even look overwhelming at times, but fear loses power when you remember who walks beside you. David did not defeat Goliath because he was physically stronger. He won because he understood something the giant did not. God changes battles ordinary people could never win alone. And the same God who carried you through past seasons has not abandoned you now. So stand boldly and declare, I will not be intimidated by this week. I will not surrender to fear. I will not collapse under pressure. The God who goes before me is greater than every obstacle in front of me. Victory, peace, wisdom, and strength will follow me throughout this week. If this prayer speaks to your spirit, seal it by typing Amen in the comments as a declaration of faith. And send this vessel of light to one person carrying silent burdens this week. One message can remind someone they are not walking into this battle alone. As you step into this new week, remember this. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are not walking through life without covering. Go into this Monday not as an orphan fighting for survival, but as a child of the King.